guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be looking at Donkey Kong, the Game & Watch version. Now I've done a video before on the Super Mario Brother Game & Watch, and I kind of had fun playing that again. It's interesting when you pull these things out. If you used to play them back in the day, they were kind of like, different, and you didn't have things like Game Boy and all that stuff accessible all the time. So having these little mini things was really cool. Today when you play them, obviously you don't get much out of it. We have cell phones now that can play any game we want practically. But it's still cool to pull this thing and just look at it and play it and get that old time feel again. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to take a look at this one because it's been a while, and I've shown it off on my channel before. I've done a video a long time ago where I kind of played showed off a bunch of my little mini systems, and I thought I should do a bunch of videos where I kind of showcase just them individually. So you can say I paid, see that there, $49.99. That was a lot of money back then. I don't remember what the store was I bought this in. It was probably one of those little computer stores that sold just computers and little parts and stuff like that. I think it was probably the same place I bought my Super Mario Brothers one. Kind of neat though. I like, the packaging. It's simple. I think they could have done a little bit better on the packaging. I think they could have actually had like Donkey Kong graphics on there. They just kept it really simple, and they gave it this kind of drawing of the system. Not an actual image of the system, but the game looks like it. So it's interesting that they did that. I'm not sure what the marketing was behind this. I mean, the box is kind of plain, kind of bland. I think they could have done a little bit better. Anyways, let's open her up. Take a look inside. So that's the system there. Now, I've mentioned this on my other video. I had the batteries sitting in here. They give you this little tiny slots here to put the batteries in when it's not in use, which was a smart decision because these types of things, you never want to leave the batteries in, especially if you're going to have it on your display for a very long time and you're never going to play it. Those batteries will corrode, and you'll actually see that. And so, I just wanted to mention it again because anybody watching this, I'm going to throw these batteries out because I can see they've already corroded. But I've put some new batteries in there anyways, just for this video. I'm going to pop that out. You can see it's nice and gold. I mean, the lighting is just, well, my man cave, the lighting is crap anyways. I know that. But it's kind of a really nice gold look to it. It's kind of giving lines from the light reflecting off of it. Really nice. And it opens up and it's a double screen. Just like the Zelda one I had. I think I showed that one too. I didn't do any gameplay on it yet, but I'm going to. And the back. I mean, a lot of these were pretty standard look. The casing, you could see that they use the same moldings and stuff. The only thing that would have changed would be these things, your controls. Because depending on what the game was, they might have had, the D-pad, or they might have had two buttons here, or just button there, button there. Depends on the game. And this, I think, these were your first system to actually introduce this Nintendo D-pad before the actual Nintendo system came out. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty certain I've read that somewhere, that this kind of brought the D-pad to the masses. In this fashion anyways, in this kind of look. And then you got different game settings, A, B, and then you got the time. Just in case you actually want to use this as a watch. I'd be very curious to know if anybody actually used this thing as a watch. I mean, I think they just put it in there as a function. It's kind of like when they made everything into a clock. Everything could have a clock in it. Are you ever going to use it as a clock? I don't know. But anyways, yeah. And what else do we got in the box here? So we got these little stickers. Now, these are little red stickers. They peel out. And you actually put it over the battery compartment. So you would stick it on the back where the battery compartment is. And I guess it's to prevent it from the batteries from falling out. It says, place this seal over battery cover to prevent babies? Prevent babies from removing and eating batteries. That's what it says. I don't know if you can read that, but yeah, that's kind of funny. So it's kind of a protector thing, so these don't fall out and your baby eats them. Because you don't want to tell your wife that your little baby just ate some batteries out of your Donkey Kong machine, because then she would have to kill you. What else do we have? How to play Donkey Kong. So you get this little leaflet in there. It's just like the size of a business card. Very, very flimsy paper. Black and white. Operate the plus controller. They call it a plus controller in capitals. A plus controller. To move Mario left, right, up, and down. And then it kind of gives you in really, really tiny fonts how to actually maneuver around in the game. And there's another one. Try and pull it out without damaging it. Game & Watch is a precision instrument. Do not attempt to take it apart. So they decided they'd actually include this in there to tell you not to take the unit apart. I don't know if anybody would want to do that unless they're skilled in electronics. Like, why would you... You know, if you want to tinker with it, but don't expect it to work when you're done tinkering. And the manual. Now this is kind of like the Super Mario Bros. Manual that I showed in my other video. It looks like it's going to be very plain. Just white and red. It's got the instructions in there. Kind of fun. Got pictures of Donkey Kong and how to play it. So I don't understand why they needed this little manual piece. Like a quick reference thing when they had this anyways. It's not like this is a big book. But yeah, it does run you through, you know, how to use the plus controls and, you know, pictures of how the game looks, and I'm sure it explains a little, like, you know, what the difference between A and B and all that stuff are, and how Mario gets to the top and wins the game. Here's some nice animations. Kind of takes me back to the old style manuals you'd get in like the Intellivision and the Atari and stuff, and how they would be very simplified. Even some of the Nintendo ones were very simplified, like Nintendo NES system. So it's kind of neat to look at this. Anyways, let's get to the gameplay and see how this game plays. Okay, so we got the game set up now. So I got the options here, A or B. I think I'm going to go with A. You can see you got your men down there. So you push the button, and there's your Mario character. It looks a little bit crazy looking. It doesn't really look like Mario. I mean, I guess his hat kind of makes it look like that. But that's okay. So you can see it's kind of like the girder stage where you're climbing up the ladders. And then you get up to this point where now you flick a switch. And you got to watch Donkey Kong's dropping barrels now. So you got to be careful. And you got to jump over to that. And you pull a piece of his little crane thing. And then you go back down to the bottom again. You'll notice that there's this little stopper piece here. So I can jump here. But I can't jump here. So you got to be careful. Because if a barrel's coming, you won't be able to jump there. So you got to get to these little notches in the... It's kind of like a second girder underneath the top girder. A little bit different strategy in this game. I guess they figured they had to make it harder somehow, or else it would be too easy. So then we're going to go back down here, flick the little switch. Kind of like in Mario's Cement Factory with the little switches you got to keep pulling. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the game's not going to really change too much. It just gets harder. Oh! That was crazy. I mean, it is kind of neat having the two screens there. So it gives the game a little bit more to do. Oh, it just fell to my death. That was not cool. Let's go back down here. I think I'm out of men. I'm going to have to start again. There we go. But I mean, it does kind of give you that Donkey Kong experience. Kinda? I mean, the Coleco one that came out, which is more like an arcade, I did a video on that one too, where I did kind of a gameplay on the game. And it wasn't, you know, I don't have the original, the console, well, I don't know what you call them, mini arcade. I don't really have that. I played it on the emulator. It's something I would like to get one day. I know they're pretty expensive. Usually they're around $100 if somebody is selling it, and they're you know, and they're used, they're old, so you don't know what you're gonna get. It's kind of like a risk, unless you're getting it off of like a collector who knows what they're doing, and they have it in great shape. It'd be cool to see that re-released. You know, I know it was kind of like a deal with Coleco and Nintendo, and I don't know. Things were kind of crazy back then with, you know, licensing and the way it worked. I mean, if you think about it, when I played Donkey Kong on the Intellivision, I was playing a game that was, you know, made by Nintendo, released by Coleco, and available on the Intellivision. I mean, that's a little bit weird. But also the Atari one, you can say the same thing, you know. It was made by Nintendo, released by Coleco, and played on the Atari. That's how we rolled back then. I mean, it's kind of the same idea today, you know, with developers, and they develop for multiple systems. But, you know, it's still weird. Oh, no, I got stuck. See, I couldn't jump there. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this as still as I can hold it and still play the game. I'm kind of looking through the camera, not directly at the game itself, because I want to make sure that the game is in full frame when I'm playing, which is a little tricky. Oh, and I lost again. I don't know if B is any harder, or what the difference is. I'm sure it tells me in the manual. But yeah, I mean, the game it's pretty much this game throughout the whole thing. It's not going to change very much. Just a little bit harder. Hey, it's pretty good for what it is. You know, I remember when I bought it, I did play it quite a bit. I was fascinated by it. And, you know, I bought this kind of late. You know, this was already on the shelf for quite a while. I probably didn't even pay that price. I probably paid like sale price or something like that. But, you know, I bought it and I was kind of happy with it. I kind of enjoyed it. Even though I had a Nintendo and I could play Donkey Kong, and I had my Commodore 64, I had my Atari, I had a lot of systems I could play Donkey Kong on. I still wanted this when it came out. You know, I bought it brand new. But it was on the shelf for a little while. It was probably just around the time when these things were starting to disappear off the shelves. So I kind of got it at the right time, because if I tried to find this today, like brand new or whatever, I'm sure I'd have to pay a pretty penny to get one. But, you know, it's not too bad. It's a fun game. I'm sure you can. It's out there on an emulator somewhere. You can try it. You know, it's okay. If you really want to play, if you're a really big Donkey Kong fan and you want to try every single Donkey Kong game out there, this is not bad anyways. But it's a cool collector's piece, and I'm glad I picked it up. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you have one of these things? Do you wish you had one of these things? Do you play any of these Game & Watch? Have you collected them? I always like to hear your comments. Throw it down below. Hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.